In a small town nestled between lush green hills, there stood a grand old clock tower. The people of the town relied on its steady ticking to guide their day. The clock's hands moved with precision, and every hour, its chimes rang out across the town, marking the passage of time. What the townsfolk didn't know, however, was that inside the tower, a small mouse named Hickory had made his home. Hickory was a clever little mouse, with fur as soft as silk and eyes that sparkled with curiosity. He loved living inside the clock, surrounded by its gears, cogs, and the soothing tick-tock of time. The clock was like music to him, and every hour, the chimes would fill the air like a sweet lullaby. Hickory spent his days exploring the nooks and crannies of the tower, climbing up the great gears and watching the world below. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, Hickory noticed something strange. The ticking of the clock had become slower, then quieter, and soon the clock hands stopped moving altogether. The tower was silent. Hickory's heart raced as he scurried up to the top of the tower to investigate. When he reached the clock's face, he discovered the problem. The great weight that powered the clock had become stuck in the pulley system. The gears, unable to move without the weight, had ground to a halt. Without the clock running, the entire town would be thrown out of sync. People would be late for appointments, meals would be missed, and the usual rhythm of life would fall apart. Hickory knew he had to act quickly. He may have been small, but he was determined. He remembered the tools the clockmaker had left behind, tucked away in a corner of the tower. With his tiny paws, Hickory opened the chest, revealing a set of miniature tools. He picked up a small wrench and pliers and hurried back to the stuck pulley. The clock tower groaned and creaked as Hickory worked. The gears around him turned, their sound growing louder as the clock tried to function. Hickory, however, was focused on his task. His paws were small, but he was quick and careful. He twisted and pulled, gnawing at the tangled ropes and loosening them bit by bit. It wasn't easy, but Hickory was determined to fix the clock. Time passed, and Hickory's paws grew tired. The tower's ticking seemed to echo louder, urging him on. At last, after what seemed like hours, Hickory managed to free the weight. With a soft click, the pulley moved into place, and the gears began to turn again. The hands of the clock slowly began to tick forward, and the rhythmic sound of time returned to the tower. Exhausted but triumphant, Hickory sat on a gear and watched as the clock struck the hour. The chimes rang out across the town, signaling that everything was back in its proper rhythm. The clock was working again, and the townsfolk would continue their day on time. Though no one ever knew of the small mouse who had saved the day, Hickory felt a deep sense of pride. He had done something important, something that kept the town running smoothly. From that moment on, Hickory became the silent guardian of time, the tiny protector who made sure the clock ticked on, hour by hour. As the years passed, the clock tower continued to chime, and the town followed its steady rhythm. Every time the clock struck the hour, Hickory would smile to himself, perched high inside the tower, knowing that he had kept time moving. And so, Hickory Dickory Dock, the little mouse in the clock, remained the unseen hero of the town, ensuring that time would always tick on.